Invite a Budget Blinds style consultant to show you how to transform your rooms just by changing your window coverings. Canada's #1 choice for window coverings. Visit budgetblinds.ca today.
Well, there's a new chief in town. 4 months after longtime Fire Chief Todd Gustafson passed away, his successor has been named. As Jeremy Thompson reports, the new title comes as Lloydminster's fire bylaw gets an update.
For City Manager Glenn Carroll and his staff, the choice was obvious.
Internally, we had one candidate.
Jordan Newton has accepted the role of fire chief and all the responsibility that comes with the position.
I'm very excited to move into the future and lead our great volunteer fire services.
We've talked to everybody, and it was determined that Jordan was certainly the right person, and thus the acting role came off, and effective today he becomes the fire chief of Lloydminster.
Newton joined as a volunteer in 2010 and just 3 years later became a deputy chief. He's been acting as fire chief since May.
We've witnessed him do a fantastic job.
Leadership skills he learned from a close mentor.
The late Fire Chief Todd Gustafson taught me a lot. He took me under his wing many years ago and started teaching me the role, and I believe he'd be happy and proud the way that we'll carry on.
The announcement comes as the city updates their fire bylaw to meet the 2010 National Fire Code. Now that means no more open fires on patios or balconies, but it also means a new $250 fine for anyone who calls in more than one false alarm in a year.
And it's been a growing trend. As a volunteer department, it's hard, but we are responding to over 300 false alarms just from your residential companies alone.
The price of all of those trips adds up, but there's another cost Chief Newton is trying to avoid.
Well, there is high amount for expenses, but what we're worried more is for public safety. The actual having to drive across town quickly with lights on puts everyone at risk when it's nothing but somebody burnt supper.
This just one example of the many new responsibilities Newton will have as chief. Jeremy Thompson, Newcap News.
The results are in. After 2 months of collecting data, the city has released new numbers on Lloydminster's population from this year's census.
Well, our population is down approximately 106 people, which is to be expected in this economy.
99% of all households in Lloydminster completed the census. SMART says this year 40% of these surveys were done online, which was a major contributor to the project coming in at about $14,000 under budget.
We definitely encourage everybody to continue participating online as we move forward for future censuses, and we hope eventually, 100% online would be fantastic.
While the population is down, the loss was on the Alberta side. Saskatchewan's half of the border city actually grew by 165 since 2013. Although the city census is complete, there is still another survey to look forward to. The federal census is coming next year.
Unfortunately, federal and municipal census are completely separate, whereas the municipal census numbers are our own questions. It's not mandatory. It's very quick and easy. The federal census is handled completely separately. The municipality has no involvement.
The census covers more than just population. SMART says a full report on the data will be released this fall. The Rotary Foundation has $400 million sitting in its endowment fund, and with service above self being their motto, today's guest speaker at the Rotary Club of Lloydminster explained how that money is used internationally and locally.
And what I'm asking for is that every Rotarian commit to a cup of coffee a week for the foundation.
We're seeing youth centers being built. In Battleford yesterday, we got to see splash parks, skateboard parks, just all the work that Rotary does in the various communities, and everybody does it a little different and does different things. It's phenomenal to see it.
Just recently we've donated to a student going on a global tour there, and we've got other projects that are being presented to us. We've recently donated some donation bins to the Interval Home. We've agreed to give $10,000 to the Youth Center.
In total, close to $300,000 has been injected into the community by the club over the last 11 years.
We worry about doing for others and making that difference in the world, making the world a better place to live, and Lloyd does that and has been doing that for years.
The group is currently trying to organize a meal packaging event. Will require 100,000 meals to be put together for underprivileged children across the globe.